Hello and welcome back to Ravenstorm Studios YouTube channel. Today I thought I would do something a little bit different. I'm going to be reading part 1, chapter 1 of Feathers and Elsewhere University Tale by Run Wild with Me on Archive of Our Own, and it is a beautiful little fan fiction that I definitely recommend you check out, and I'll be drawing along as well. And if you want more parts to this series, just say so in the comments below. And I really hope you enjoy. Chapter 1, Part 1. You go to Elsewhere University. You've been going to Elsewhere University for years and years and years, for 3 years now. You know how things are. You're not an RA, but, you could have been. Might still be. Aren't yet. This is your junior year, you think. You know how things are. You carry salt in one pocket and iron in another, trinkets to bargain away in your book bag, offerings in your purse, pearls around your neck. Pearls have no great stories attached to them that you know of, but your great-grandmother wore pearls, both your grandmothers wear pearls, your mother wears pearls, your aunts, your cousin, your sister, your niece, all the women in your family wear pearls. Sometimes when you go home, you think the only reason your family recognizes you is because you wear pearls. Belief has its own sort of power here. If you ever find yourself bargaining away your pearls, you know you might just be bargaining away bits of yourself. In your purse you carry seeds and nuts and sweets, bits of bacon, squares of butter, packs of honey, pepper, not salt, those go in your back pocket. Pepper is actually quite valuable to the wee folk. It's hard to get for them, because it's usually kept so close to the salt. Of cream cheese, single-serve tubs of creamer, in at least 3 flavors, since your first summer solstice. Your dorm raids the dining room commons for condiments every Tuesday. Tuesdays are good for raids. Good for quests and adventures too, but only if they're small. It's impossible for things to go too terribly wrong on Tuesdays. Your first day enrolled at Elsewhere was a Tuesday. It was nearly 5 o'clock, the sun was just going down, and you could hear things. You turned, wide-eyed, pale-faced, to your RA, Jenna, who had rolled her 2 bright eyes and said, "It's Tuesday," and was so entirely unconcerned you had to believe there was nothing to be concerned about. Of course, a year later you'd found out that the real Jenna had been away for over 4 years. Whatever was wearing her face wasn't really her, and that Jenna wasn't even supposed to be an RA, to say nothing of whatever had replaced her. By then, though, the Tuesday thing was a firm part of your dorm's understanding of how things work around here, and thus had become true, if only for the girls in your dorm. Even if it hadn't been before. You still wear your bar inside out on raids. It hurts to wear your bars like this, under wire and straps biting into your skin, but there is power in sacrifice, and for all you wonder, on Tuesdays you're hardly ever lost. You'll also carry around the complete collection of Emily Dickinson's poetry, but that's as much for you as it is for the crows. The crows here like poetry, even some music, not metal and not country, but folk, bluegrass, sure, melancholy songs or songs for battle, lots of instruments with a single voice rising clear above. Your tastes mostly overlap, which is why you know this. They still like poetry best, but you're charmed at least 3 with an only slightly off-key rendition of "I'll Follow You Into the Dark." You've named one crow, it allowed you to name it more like, and both of you know it. Barnes, on account of it shows up every time without fail whenever you hum along to Glitter and Gold. You're walking to the library now, and Barnes is on your shoulder, bopping along and clacking its beak as you croon the lyrics. Barnes keeps impeccable time, you found. You've told Barnes this, and had to catch it when it fell from the bench. Caw-caw-cawing its awful laugh at your pun. You woke up the next morning to feathers on your pillow. One good turn deserves another, and 2 years on you still wear them in your hair. Corvus, not Jenna, calls out to you, and she means you. Corvus isn't your real name, of course, but then again, not Jenna isn't not Jenna's real name either. Real names, first names, true names aren't things you share around here. Here, most people call you Corvus, to some you're Crowgrowl, to others you're Feathers, to those of the court you are called Girl Who Sings to Crows. You'd found yourself at a revel last winter, these things happen, and had indeed been revelling, as was polite, when a hand, Talon, had caught your jaw. It tilted your chin up and looked up and up into those black, empty eyes set in skin the colour you don't have the words for, framed by hair that looked like the sound of feathers rustling. It laughed at your terror, rough, cracked laughter from a too pretty throat, and asked you, girl who sings to crows, will you sing to me? No fool, you asked what a song was worth. A gift is a debt, and you want no debt between a member of the court and yourself. It answered. You sang. The next morning you woke, safe in your bed, no memory past the first note to leave your lips, pearls still hanging around your neck, and a second strand of pearls, black and grey and blue, and so glossy, like feathers, clutched inside your clenched wrist. And you know each pearl is a song, is a favour, should you ever be brave enough to call one in. You wear them tied around your left wrist, and it is as much a declaration as you are capable of making. You slow down and wait for Not Jenna to catch up. Every now and then you wonder what she really is. You could find out, you suppose. There's a girl called Cat Eyes from Dorm 3 that sells special glasses. Cat Eyes' glasses are for seeing the truth of things, but you can't ever unknow a truth. Maybe you'll look past Not Jenna's glamours when you leave elsewhere, but for now you still have to live with her. Bliss and ignorance and all that. Good morning, Not Jenna. How'd the test go? Not Jenna likes being called Not Jenna. She told you it helped to remind her who she was pretending to be. You figure Not Jenna's knot is similar to your pearls. You don't tell her about the pearls, but from the way she looks at them, sometimes you think she already knows. Oh, just horribly. It's a good thing the professor offers extra credit, let me tell you. You're pretty sure Not Jenna isn't actually enrolled in any classes, because she never gives specifics. It's always a paper, the test next week. That one professor. In fact, you've put money down that she just randomly shows up to take a test and hand papers into various classes and professors. Gambling aside, Not Jenna is very good at pretending to be a person. An offer. Want to study with me and Barnes? She says, and she and Barnes eye each other. Psychology? Not Jenna queries. You hum. Barnes croaks. Stanford Prison at her, and Not Jenna's eyes light up. More than usual, you mean. Not Jenna has always liked hearing about the atrocities humans can perpetuate upon each other. You've got that test in 2 weeks, Corvus, don't you? She asks. And a quiz this Tuesday, you tell her. Not Jenna nods, deciding. The librarian makes the I'm watching you gesture at Barnes as the three of you head up to the third floor study rooms. It fluffs its tail feathers at him. You go home for spring break. Your family waits for you past security, all warmth and smiles. Your mother sees you just fine. Well, she looks at your neck before she looks you in the eye. But that's normal now. And it's not like your friends at Elsewhere don't do the same. But your sister's eyes catch and hold on the feathers in your hair. Her brow is furrowed. She reaches out to push a stray lock of hair from behind your ear. Did you dye your hair? She asks. It looks darker now. Too much time spent studying indoors, sis, that's all, you tell her, and she nods, still confused, but willing to accept the lie, and her eyes slide off your feathers. Your father slings a heavy arm around your shoulders, his eyes bright and jovial. Normal human bright, you mean. After Not Jenna, even in your mind, you find yourself clarifying bright eyes. As he laughs. My little girl, growing up at college, staying inside, he laughs. It's a normal human laugh, nothing rough and croaking about it. The place is shortchanging you. You laugh, smiling at him. You boarded the plane, went through the metal detectors. All of the security just fine. You can still wear metal earrings. You can still lie. Walking out of the car, you trip, fall behind. Your sister calls out, "Come on, Feathers, keep up," and your heart stops. Your family, your blood kin. These, of all people, these people should know your name. They shouldn't know to call you otherwise. "What did you call me?" you ask, intent. This is against the rules. You don't call attention to things like this. Not at Elsewhere. But you're not at Elsewhere. And yet the pearls looped around your left wrist when they clack, clack, clack together. It sounds like caw, caw, caw. It sounds like laughter. What are you talking about? I called you by your name. You hear the lack of capitalization. Spring break passes slowly, so slowly, and every relative, every friend calls you by nicknames you've picked up at Elsewhere. If you're smart, you never go back. Let the fairness you've picked up be rubbed away by steel, by silver, by iron, by the constant hum of electricity trapped in wires all through the city. Instead, you drive an hour out of the city to the closest stable, shake hands with the farrier, and trade him your recipe for lavender lemonade for every single nail he pulls from the hooves of the horses he works on. He'd have given them to you, but even offers the horseshoes he can't reuse. But you've been at Elsewhere long enough that accepting a gift makes you uncomfortable. And horseshoes can be tricky. Horseshoes have luck in them, good and bad. You have to be careful to pull out only the good luck when you bring them home. Maybe you'll give it a try later. Instead, you go to the ocean and bring home buckets and buckets and buckets of water. They yield a paltry palmful of salt, but it is sea salt you harvested yourself, and all the stronger for it. You carry it in a squat little bottle draped from your neck by a leather thong. Instead, you pluck careful handfuls of flowers from the garden you started with your mother your first weekend back from Elsewhere, and crush the petals against your skin, scrape dirt under your nails. Instead, your mother takes you to visit a different relative each day, and each one presses a small pouch into your hands as you leave. You wonder, but don't ask. It's not for you to know just yet. Instead, you wait underneath a roosting tree for hours into the night, and when a crow feather falls, you pluck it from the ground and tie it into your hair. Leave a handful of grains where it fell. Instead, you say goodbye outside the airport. Your mother drapes a delicate silver train around your waist. Solitary earrings, half a bracelet, the charm from a necklace, mutilated rings. None of them whole, all hang from it. All have pearls. She tells you, for bargaining, when they ask for pieces of you. She tells you, be brave, be clever, be quick. She doesn't tell you, be safe. You don't promise to come back. For all that you belong here, have the dirt and salt and scent and feathers to prove it. For all that, Elsewhere has a hold of you. Time to see which hold is stronger. Thank you very much for listening. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, definitely go check out the original work by Run Wild With Me on Archive of Aaron. And thank you. Goodbye.